Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Divorce Coach Diaries. All right, so if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, and if you don't, you should, Meg the Divorce Coach. I have been talking all week about people pleasing. So let's keep it up and let's talk some more about people pleasing because it is so common and it just doesn't serve us. It doesn't work. It doesn't create happiness. It doesn't create fulfillment. So let's talk about it and see what it's all about and how we can do a little bit less of it if that's what you want to do. So maybe you've heard something like this before or even said it. I just don't want to upset anyone, or, oh, I hate conflict, or I don't want them to think I'm selfish. Or what if they don't like me anymore if I say something they don't like or agree with? So, if these are all things that you have said before, welcome to being a human who cares what other people think. We all do this to some extent. It is part of what makes us healthy humans. And we actually want to care what other people think. We just don't want to ignore what is the truth and what is honest inside of us. So, today we're going to talk about why we people please, what it costs us, and how to start letting go. So, people pleasing is not about being kind, it's about being safe. We think we need to do this to protect ourselves, to keep peace, to avoid being rejected, and to earn other people's approval. And it probably started for you a long time ago. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, don't say that, it will hurt this person's feelings. Or maybe you learned this in your marriage. Maybe you learned that your needs don't matter as much as keeping somebody else happy. And if this resonates with you, don't worry, nothing's gone wrong. And you can make some really small changes that might really affect you for good. So, why does it feel so hard to stop people pleasing? First of all, anytime we change the dance in a relationship, it's going to feel so hard and it's going to feel so uncomfortable. And most likely, the other people in our lives are not going to like it. You know, people pleasing is draining you. You know, you're resentful and still you do it. Still, you say yes when you really want to say no. Or you say, I don't care, whatever you want, when you actually do have an opinion. We fear as humans that we will be seen as selfish or as mean or as difficult. Some people care a lot less about this than others. But if you would identify as a people pleaser, you care a lot about what people think, and it feels so dangerous to be thought of as somebody who's selfish. It's one of the very worst things that you could imagine being said about you. So, you've probably built your identity around being the one who holds everybody together. You're the peacemaker, you're the dependable one, you're so easygoing, and you make sure that everybody else's needs and wants are met. But you are losing who you are inside, and you're probably building up a lot of resentment in these relationships, and letting go of this feels so dangerous. And you might not even know who it is underneath when you do let go. But what if being the one who holds it all together is actually keeping you from being your true self? So, what does it cost us when we fall into this habit of people pleasing? We stop trusting ourselves. We forget what we want, or we don't even think about it. We build quiet resentment toward the people that we're trying so hard to please. Sometimes people pleasing feels, especially to the other person, as love and sacrifice, but it is not the same thing, because love does not require burnout. It doesn't cause anxiety. And love is connecting in our relationship, and people pleasing is disconnecting. People pleasing is lying, my friends. And I know that might sound harsh, but it is true. It's pretending. It's pretending that we want to do things when we actually don't want to. Or it's pretending that we like something when in truth we hate it. But we're so terrified of telling the truth that we continue to people please, and it feels terrible. We start to believe that if everyone else is okay, if everyone else is happy, that we will be too, but it's just not how it works. So if this sounds like you when I'm talking about these things, what changes if you start to notice this in yourself and you decide, I don't actually want to be like this anymore? What's going to change for you? Here's what I want to tell you. When you start speaking up, when you start telling the truth, the world's not going to end. Are there going to be people who don't like it? Yes, absolutely. They don't have to like it, and we can still be honest. You're going to start noticing small moments of peace within yourself, because it feels so good to be honest with yourself. We start to build self-trust again when we are honest with ourselves, and when we start to show ourselves that it's not dangerous to tell the truth. And what you might find is that there are some relationships that just don't work anymore when you stop people pleasing. And there might be some treatment that comes your way that you are not willing to tolerate. And that's okay. It's uncomfortable, it's scary. It might even propel you into making some really significant life changes. But inside, when we stop people pleasing, we can feel peace, because it does not feel good to not tell the truth. It might feel safer. It might feel more comfortable. It might feel more peaceful on the surface, but inside of us, it's not what our souls want. Our souls and our spirits, our bodies, our nervous systems, they want to feel true, honest peace. And that won't come from people pleasing. And let me remind you, being a people pleaser is not your identity. It's a habit. It's something we're used to, but it's not who you are. So if you notice yourself telling people this like it's just a fact, I'm a people pleaser, catch yourself. Because while you might have fallen into that habit for very good reasons for a really long time, it's still not who you are. And it doesn't mean that it has to continue that way. And also, let me remind you that we don't have to be unkind to stop people pleasing. Honesty still can be kind. And the other person might not see it that way. They still might think that we are selfish or mean, but you don't have to own that. So just start telling yourself the truth. If someone makes a request of you and the truth is, I don't want to do that, or I just don't have the capacity for that, start by telling yourself the truth and leave the judgment out. Telling yourself, if I was a good wife, I would do this. Or if I was a good mom, I would meet this request of my child's. That is optional. If you want to do that, if it feels kind, if it feels expansive, if you can meet their request from a clean place, that is not people pleasing. Because we all do things we don't really want to do sometimes, but we can do it from a place of love and sacrifice or compassion, even. And that's not people pleasing because those feelings don't breed resentment. Choices like that are not people pleasing choices. It still feels good to do things that are important to somebody else, even if you don't really want to do that. Or even when it wouldn't be our first choice of what to do, or, even simply where to eat. And let me remind you that these choices that we make, and if we want to start being more honest in our relationships, it doesn't have to start in giant ways. We can make different choices in really small ways. And the other person still might be disappointed. Let them be disappointed and don't rush to fix it, or don't rush to change your mind or meet their request right away. Just sit in that in your body and feel what it feels like to be uncomfortable with someone who, when someone else is disappointed with us. Don't rush to change it or fix it. They will be okay, and so will you. You might feel guilty. That's okay. Guilt is not dangerous. It's just your brain's way of saying, this is kind of a new thing and I don't think we like it. Maybe we should go back to the other way. That was safer. We can just sit and feel it and don't rush to change it again. And of course, the more you practice this, the better we get at it, the easier it gets. We can stop living for approval and start living from integrity. And this is hard to do when it's new, but stick with it because it is worth it. We don't have to earn love by becoming small. You don't have to just agree to be worthy and to have people like you. You can take up space. You are worthy and you are lovable exactly how you are. You are allowed to have opinions. You are allowed to say no and let the other person manage their reaction of that. You don't have to take it on. If you have spent years and years trying to make other people comfortable, this will take some time to make a switch. It is okay to tell the truth, my friends, and it starts with telling the truth to yourself. And if you want help with this, come and talk with me about it. Let me help you. I help people for free on Tuesdays. So hop on my calendar, megthedivorcecoach.com/free coaching. Get on my calendar. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about small, simple, safe, doable ways that you can start to live more honestly and stop people pleasing. People pleasing, it's just not good for us. And it's not good for the other people in our lives either. We need diversity. We need opportunities for growth and for challenge. And that does not come from the dishonesty that is people pleasing. So, my friends, have a great weekend. I will talk to you next week, and I'll catch you next time.